feel. Put my seatbelt on. Chi-Chi's right there. Water fine. I'll just take it right here. Yeah, he ain't my brother. Yeah, he's not my brother though. That tells you a lot. Wow. Tells you a lot. Happy feelings in the air.
pushing things. So if he can't go, it may be a lot of just McKinstry on CD. Like that may be the matchup that they look for.
Who on the Saints offense really puts a little fear into you?
Alvin Kamara, that's a pretty good football player right there.
I mean, that was a turn back the clock
Alvin Kamara.
last week.
Yeah,
The way they're using him, and he looked fresh.
Yeah, I mean, it looks when you watch the offense back this week, you watch what they did against Carolina, and you look at some of the numbers of how they approached down and distance and how they approached formations and different things like that. It is clear that Clint Kubiak came from San Francisco system.
Yeah, I can't read that.
I mean, I know we talked about that a little bit, kicked it around this week, the idea of like, okay, well, how much of a representation is this? Are we just trying to connect dots that aren't there and say, oh, it's the San Francisco system, but we call from there? It looks like, I think you look at a lot of the different metrics, numbers that are similar to the way the 49ers approach things in terms of, at the snap motion and pre-snap motion, and it looks similar to some things that McDaniel has tried in Miami. Under center a lot. I mean, you look
San Francisco and Miami were the two, along with the Saints last week, the three most under center teams that play football.
And the Rams played a decent amount of
Get some
center,
fuel.
and that's something where McVay
Heading down to
comes
Dallas.
from that sort of group of coaches. So you
Business
definitely
meeting.
see the sort of influences there, and the run game has been an issue. I think you're going to see a lot of there's going to be a lot of bigger packages. There'll be some 21. There'll be some some attempts to try and get some motion, some eye candy. This will be a good test for Dallas's defense to see. All right, the Lions had a good showing last week, and let's see how real this is. I think this will be a better representation of it.
Yeah, I think last year's defense, I'm nervous about a game like this.
Yeah.
Just with the way that they deploy all their guys, everything like that. But with Zimmer, you're much more confident, but this will be the first time we really get to see it. A Zimmer defense versus these new age style offenses that gave Dan Quinn and company fits. But I think the biggest difference in this game is just the fact that I feel like the Saints will not be able to get much pressure on Dak without blitzing, which will create bigger problems for them. And I think that the Cowboys pass rush is going to be all over Derek Carr.
Well, this is where I kind of, and we were talking about with Alvin Kamara though, and the different looks. Let me give you a guy that you need to keep an eye on. Eric McCoy, the center. Now they might be compromised in a couple with Ruiz and some guys and Penny on that right side. Eric McCoy, the center, is outstanding. And so now, if all of a sudden you see the Saints having success of running the ball, and you start to see it's cutting back, it's bending, it's attacking, Eric McCoy will probably be the guy that's the reason why. Because he is a guy, when he plays second-level football, and what's the strength, or we think the early strength of this Cowboy defense is? The linebackers, their ability to run, the ability to fill. This is going to be a good matchup and a good test for these Cowboy linebackers, because Eric McCoy can play second-level football.
It's both teams this week, I think, are concerned about Yak. So, Tyrann Mathieu had said this week that he that's one thing that they're really keen on with CD. Like, don't let him get in space. Don't let him pick up a bunch of yardage after catch. He led the NFL there. And then the Yak on the other side is, I think, the Cowboys need to make sure that Alvin Kamara's not picking up a bunch of yards after contact, because that's what he does. You've got to wrap him up. You've got to bring him down, and he is very physical, and he's a bowling ball. When he gets downhill, it's very difficult to bring him down. It's very rare that the first tackler brings him down. So there's got to be a lot of swarm tackling, a lot of good fundamentals, and just bringing him to the ground. That'll be a big part of winning this game.
How much more variety do you think they want out of the running backs this week in terms of Dowdle involved? I mean, McCarthy was talking to you guys on Friday, like, would love to get a little bit more Deuce in there, but what do you expect from the running backs?
I honestly don't know if they know yet. Like, I think they're still figuring it out, like, what they want to do. I think they went into that game, they're approaching each game as its own game plan, obviously, but I think that when they get in here, they're going to feel this out a little bit for these first couple weeks and kind of figure out, like, okay, how do we want to stagger these backs? Who seems to be having success? Is it just kind of a game-by-game thing where they figure out the matchups? But I think in general, you're going to see about what you saw last week, which is a pretty even split between Zeke and Dowdle in terms of actual carries. But yeah, if they have some issues in pass protection or some other things, then you're going to see more Zeke out there in terms of snap number.
No question. And if it turns into quick depth, where they're going to blitz and sell out and leave guys in cover and try and get home before God can get rid of the ball, that's where Ezekiel Elliott's going to step up in this game.
All right, beautiful. There it is. Inside the Starboard Cowboys Insider, Bobby Belt, live from the Miller Lite West Plaza. Chuck. We're just getting started here from the Miller Lite West Plaza. Under 2.5 hours before the Cowboys kick off the quest for 2-0. It is just right around the corner. Saints in town. Let's go behind enemy lines with the voice of the Saints, Mike Hawks. Next, right here on the Fan.
It's big, it's good, and it's only for Cowboys fans. It's a Cowboys special from the Cowboys and Papa John's. Get a large one-topping pizza for only $9.99. That's right, Cowboys fans. Get a large one-topping pizza for only $9.99 every day of the week. It's America's team. It's America's pizza. It's the Cowboys special. Order today, in person, on the phone, or online. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, the official pizza of the Dallas Cowboys.
Whether you're getting ready to purchase a home, setting up a college fund for your kids, or preparing for retirement, you're working hard to live a life you love. And you deserve peace of mind knowing your home, loved ones, and future are protected. At SWBC, we can help you assess your personal situation and create a customized solution to make sure you're prepared for whatever life throws your way. Visit SWBC.com to learn about your mortgage, insurance, and wealth management options today. That's SWBC.com.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer gears now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Again, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys. This is how comes me from my friends at Campbell's. Got waterproofing, the official ultimate waterproofing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. John Cornwall, Texas Rangers, have a certified installer of the Tesla solar.
Intellectual property and labor and employment practices. Central Texas. From vanilla to cappuccino milk and many more, we have fun flavors for everyone. Score a bottle of our milk by visiting our website, Volleman'sDairy.com, to find our products in a store near you. When the official milk of Dallas Cowboys, the official milk of your family table.
AT&T Stadium, just over 2 hours to kick off, and it's time to go behind enemy lines with the voice of the Saints, Mr. Mike Hawes. Mike, thanks so much for the time, my friend. Dominant Saints victory last week, and we are excited for a battle of the one-and-ohs. This is kind of a truth serum game a little bit here. That Saints offense looked unbelievable last week. Cowboys defense looked fantastic. What's the status of some of these banged-up players here, Mike?
Well, we'll find out a little more. I hate to begin this way, but I'm a former news journalist. The Shaheed touchdown was actually 59 yards, not 64. I messed it up. So I messed it up on the call, but I have to correct it. It was 59 for Shaheed. There we go. Correction noted. I think really the key will be Rashid Shaheed. Was full until Friday, then limited. Marshawn Lattimore didn't practice. He will be literally game time decision. They both traveled, obviously. They pulled up the safety, Ugo Amadi, for the practice squad. So I just don't know. Lattimore, to me, is such an integral part for the defense when you're facing CeeDee Lamb. And Shaheed, on the other side of the football, just makes this offense so much better. If you only have to kind of concern yourself with Chris Olave, it's doable. If you have a Shaheed on the other side, it changes everything. And last week, Olave got a lot of the double teams, and Carr was able to hit 8 different receivers.
Hey, Mike, it looks like to me when you watched your tape with Alvin Kamara, and, the line did a really nice job of that securing the down guys, getting second level blocks, but then the contact, the yards after contact, it looks like that Alvin Kamara looks healthy, looks rested, looks ready to play for you guys.
Yeah, I agree. He had a lot of the contract stuff, through camp, but when he gets on the football field, he's Alvin Kamara. And he looked as fast to me on the field game one as he did in 2017, 2018. He's got great patience that he's willing to wait out that half a beat to see if that crease will open. And that's what makes him such a great runner. And this offense has to. I know every team will sit here on this microphone pregame and say running is important. If this football team can't run, it's not built to protect on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, a rookie left tackle and essentially a rookie right tackle in Trevor Payne. It's just not built. So if they have to do that a lot, it's going to be a real challenge. They need to run the football like they did last week with Jamal Williams, Kamara, and Taysom Hill. That needs to be a staple, not just a one and done from Carolina. And you talk about yards after contact. One of the things Dennis Allen talked about in his post-game presser was yards before contact. It was 2.9. And that's an impressive, stat we don't talk about. I mean, they didn't have any contact. They were 3 yards down the field. They could fall forward for 4. They only averaged 3.3 yards last year running the football. So that yards before contact was a very impressive aspect of week 1.
Voice of the Saints, Mike Haas, with us here on the Fang. Clint Kubiak, play call for the Saints. He was one of the superstars of week 1, unveiling a little bit of that San Francisco Kyle Shanahan type offense. What do we need to know about this thing, man? It looks like they're moving guys around all over the place. And you mentioned the usage for Alvin Kamara. I've heard this offense be described as sort of positionless with just the way he's moving guys around and putting them in different spots. This is going to be a fun matchup versus the Cowboys defense.
No, I agree. Cowboys got a lot of athletes on defense. You got to account for Micah Parsons. I don't know really if accounting for him does anything, but you can account for him, who's going to block you? But you're right. I think this offense, and we are just seeing it for the first time. I mean, I spent 28 days in Irvine, California watching training camp. And I know what I know, but until you see it in action and you wipe out 3 preseason games. So I think Derek Carr, when he said, it was midway through camp, said that the key to this offense is that if you're doing it well, from the quarterback standpoint, the first 4 or 5 steps, the defense should know run or pass. And that's never been the case with the Saints offense. And so we're just now kind of to get a feel for that. But if it's done well, and that you can see how that would be, you know, when you got a weapon like Shaheed and Kamara and Taysom Hill and others, how that would be so effective. So if they're able to do it right, offensive line had a pretty solid game last week. You look at the opponent. Dallas had a pretty solid game, clearly defensively, with the turnovers and just, 17 quarterback hits and 6 sacks. I think Cleveland only had 70 plays. Dallas disrupted 23 of them, so that's a humongous stack there with 17 quarterback hits.
Yes, absolutely. Now, Derek Carr, you mentioned him. How much of coming into this season, like, is this a hot seat kind of season for Derek Carr, for head coach Dennis Allen as well?
Probably, maybe more. I think maybe for Coach Allen, but then if a new coach does come in, you know, they're probably going to clean house and start over. It's hard to say. There's, you know, Derek Carr completed almost 70% of his passes last year. He won 4 of his last 5, but he completed in the upper 70s. He only threw, I think, 2 picks his last 5 games. You know, yet he's kind of. He's either a villain, you either love him, or he's a villain in New Orleans. And, you know, when you replace Drew Brees, and he was really had a year post, he didn't, you know, right after Drew, but he has done everything he could possibly do, says the right thing, does the right thing. And so I don't feel it so much with Carr, with Coach Allen. You know, after 7-10, 9-8, this team hasn't been to the playoffs since 2020. One of those years was Sean. But so I feel like our fan base is where you guys are right now. Your fan base could care a rat's tail about how many home regular season games you've won consecutively. It's like, can we just get to the postseason? And that's the way we were in 17, 18, 19. The regular season we were like 13-3, like, okay, whatever, let's go. And so it's when you kind of have that mentality, and all of a sudden you don't make the playoffs for 4 years, it's tough. People have to come back to earth.
Mike, again, watching your tape on the defensive side of the ball, I was curious, was the blitz packages and things